the people here flexing our First Amendment rights, supporting the Constitution, standing next to each other in the face of tyranny, we are the ones who are the true patriots.
If you don't already know him, you probably should. Random guy who woke up one morning and decided to quit doom-scrolling the news and make an impact on his community.
Hi, I am Jared Christian, and I am some random guy who woke up pissed off enough to start trying to work in my community to make positive change. I want to do something that's a little unprecedented for me. I want to take a moment to thank Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I want to thank them for reminding Americans that we can do better. Because if there is one thing I know for certain right now, we're not doing so hot. Gas prices $4 a gallon. Just here in our economics locally, that's going to destroy us. But a war in Iran where the first bombs that we dropped hit a little girls' school, killed a bunch of children, in your name. These are your representatives. Everything they do, every person they hurt, every dollar they spend, every chance that they take, every ally they make, every enemy that they bomb is in your name. And while they spend these billions of dollars a day fighting these wars that we don't have any business being in, you can't afford food, you can't afford a new car, you can't afford a house. The next generation has lost hope. And right now we're in the middle of starting a war that we can't contain in Iran. Also, we can create another generation like mine filled with veterans who can't get help at the VA, because if there is one thing that's always on the chopping block, it is taking care of Americans. We can do better, America, and I want to take a moment to thank the people who woke us up to that, who make the people show up on the streets like this, the people who wake us up pissed off, so that we can start to make a positive change in the nation like we haven't seen in a generation. What we need is change. And you listen to those honks of support that you hear out there on the street right now. Those are people that are standing next to you, maybe not physically, but they are on your side. And you hear the people squealing their tires and rolling coal trying to embarrass us, but they got two real problems. They either have a functional illiteracy on the functions of this government and how things are going right now in their own lives, and they got a tiny little ego. That is who they are. Where we, the people here flexing our First Amendment rights, supporting the Constitution, standing next to each other in the face of tyranny, we are the ones who are the true patriots. As a veteran, I've given years of my life in service to this nation. As a man on the street, I was largely apolitical after I got out. I thought that everything was fine. I looked at the world around me and I was like, my life's not great, but things seem to be rolling along all right. It turns out I was wrong. I wasn't the only one struggling. I wasn't the only one who couldn't afford to turn my gas on in my apartment to heat it. I wasn't the only one who had to eat a bunch of rice because I couldn't afford anything else after I got out of the military. There are homeless veterans in this nation. There are children dying of preventable diseases while corporate oligarchs profit billions off of our suffering. There is no other way to put that. There is no other meaning behind any of this except that our suffering funds their yachts. It funds their billion-dollar mansions. Our lost funds fund the Haslam's new Browns Stadium. $600 million they tried to give billionaires who turned around and bought a $20 million house in Florida immediately afterward. Look at the world around you and be angry. Be pissed, but be pissed with a plan. Show up every chance you get. You can do more than post on social media. You can do more than scream at your bedroom ceiling in anger. You can show up to protest. You can volunteer for candidates who support your lives, who want to see your children survive long enough to have their own children, to build a world and a nation that we find value in again, that we don't look at our neighbors and feel anger and hate, that we can look at our neighbors and feel loved, feel supported, feel like our communities have our back. Because when I look at the crowd of people out here today, what I see is support for each other, for a cause, for that word that is in the very front of the name of our nation, united. That is what we have to be in the face of fascism and tyranny, while the oligarchs, they create the algorithms that dictate the things that we see on the internet. The clicks drive anger, the anger drives the algorithms drive the profits. So the angrier you are, the more you click, the more you hate, the more money they make. So what I'm going to tell you as our best bet to change the world, to change this nation, to be something that we can be proud of again, is to look at your neighbor and have those hard conversations. Have them with love, with unity, with respect. Talk to the people who you would have ignored before, who you would have written off because they are suffering like you're suffering. And people are not that angry unless they are suffering. Look to your neighbors, have those hard conversations, because there is one solid truth that I have found when it comes to change, is that it is having those hard conversations, doing the hard things, that makes change. And I, for one, am ready for some change. I want you to know that your voice matters in all of this. Just being here, sharing the posts on social media, it does make a difference. Your neighbors see those things. They feel less alone. They get an opportunity to change their mind. And through your actions and through your words, not just me, some guy standing here on a stage, you get to change the world in a way that matters. I want to thank all of you for the work that you do, for being a voice that makes me proud to be an American. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for supporting all of this movement.
Thank you, Jared.
Have a good day.